What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 308 of Opinions May Vary. I'm your host, JR. My co-host will be Alex.
Hello.
I skipped a couple words in there, but you get the idea. It's the same intro
You did fine.
every single time, so if you're not used to it. But you know what we were doing 4 years ago today?
What's that?
4 years ago. It popped up in my memories today.
Okay.
100 episodes.
That's right. I saw
Right.
that too.
Yep. Alex got a cake. Did you ever see the cake? Here's the cake. I'm showing it to our guest who I haven't introduced yet. It says, holy shit, 100 episodes. And we ate it. And then,
Because it was so shocking that we made it that far.
right, at the time. And then Alex and I went to go play Call of Duty while Joe, Colin, and Brett
Yep.
filled in for us. And they recorded the episode. It was the first time we were ever not in an episode. Joining us this week is...
You have a funny look on your face.
Odd celebration.
Oh yeah, it was the Not Our episode was what it
Yeah.
became.
Yep. I can't remember who was that.
Very meta.
Was that Joe's idea? Colin? I
think
can't remember whose idea it was.
Either Joe or Brett.
Yeah, but they were like, "Yo, we're gonna do it for you." And we were
Oh
like,
yeah, it was brought up as a joke at first.
"Hell yeah!"
And then we were like, no, let's go with it.
Yep. That's the only. Is that the only episode that doesn't feature either one of us?
No.
Oh yeah, this is the Wonder one. Yep, forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Yep. How could I forget about that one? It's the only one they ever get banned
When
from
you've
YouTube.
had 307 episodes, you know.
We have. Yeah, we've had it. Actually, then there's the JVA one shot. We had. A lot of fun. Joining us this week is our good pal Ken. Ken, it has been too long. Over a year now, because you were our first guest of 2017, I believe.
Was I?
I think so.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was around this time of year.
Because you almost crashed down there.
Yeah, because it
Because it was snowing.
like a blizzard started up as we were recording, and yeah, you live by a hill that is
Down on Route 5. When you go down the street.
This one.
So
Yep.
It's out this way. You're pointing in a really weird direction.
It's
Yeah.
just it's
It's-
literally right there.
No, it's not. There's a field that anyway.
We're at-
No one can
could
see
get-
where we're
we
pointing.
Could get into the semantics of
Where
you know,
the street is
pointing.
in Enfield?
Oh yeah, it's over. It's over there. Like people,
When-
everyone just points in a direction.
In the snow, I've been going down that hill you're talking about, and it almost got bad.
Oh, yeah.
I literally
Ken has all-wheel drive.
I spun all the way around, and then kind of bumped up against a snowbank, and luckily didn't slide into Route 5 sideways.
So there's probably people listening that have never had to deal with snow before. Like that's a possibility.
Yeah.
You're assuming people.
People are listening. They will listen, and they may not have dealt with snow before.
There'll be a
So
couple.
it's just like to listen to us talk about. They're like, oh, if you have ever gone down a hill. And the street you're talking about is a busy road.
Yep.
That comes off of the highway, so it gets traveled on a lot.
Mm-hmm.
When you're like, my car is not stopping.
Yeah.
Oh nope, still not stopping.
And there's one thing you usually do to stop a car,
And-
and that is completely negated.
And you're like, well, okay, we'll see how this turns out.
Just gonna hang on now.
It's the most terrifying situation because you're out of control. You have some control. Like if you're a smart driver, you can do some things, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's just nope. And yeah, when that snow first falls is usually the worst too.
This was down by the highway. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's that hill,
Yeah.
like right,
Right.
like
The road
leading on
here
Route
that
5.
connects to Route 5.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
That
okay.
hill right at the end.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
it had like just started
Yep.
snowing. It was like fresh snow, so
In
wasn't
other
on my-
words, last time Ken came on, he almost died. He did not die. He is
Nope.
back to join us, mostly because I want to. I'm
Oh.
taking advantage of Ken getting upset. It's going to be a lot of fun.
that's easy.
Ken
That's
gets upset about things.
That's a layup.
We're gonna have a lot of fun today. No, we're gonna have fun talking about good things, and
Yeah.
then maybe not so good things. No,
Yeah.
not so good.
No.
It's just
But
announcements that are interesting.
It's also I think it's very interesting. It's
Yeah.
a lot about a community that people may not know a lot about. So
I don't, and I'm of the three of us, I'm the second most involved in the community.
yeah, you know a fair bit. You got
Yeah.
your ear to the ground.
Yeah,
Of the
a little bit.
the FGC.
Sometimes I watch YouTube videos.
True, and you actually play the game, whereas I do not. Play
One of
any.
them, yeah.
Yeah, I do not play any. I play Smash Brothers, but I haven't even played Smash 4 in probably over a year now, which is kind of an abomination.
You Jonesing?
Not really. That's the thing. Like, I could play it on my DS whenever I want.
There's rumors that they're going to come out with something on the Switch.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, my Wii U. I always make the joke. I took my Wii U out of my entertainment center. I packed it up to make room for my Super Nintendo Mini. I hadn't played it in ages, and I have a Switch now, so it's kind of a bummer. But last time you were on, we talked about fighting games, so we're gonna switch it up this time and talk about fighting games.
Yes.
So buckle up and strap on your best gi.
Your finest gi.
Your finest gi.
Your church gi.
Put on the. Does Ken wear a headband?
Ken does not wear a headband.
Ken doesn't wear a headband.
No.
Only Ryu does.
The closest he gets is in the Alpha series. He has a hair tie.
Right, and he looks awesome with
that.
He's
got the long flowing locks.
And he had that in Street Fighter 5 too, right? Or 4. Didn't he have an outfit where he had a ponytail?
He probably had an outfit,
right.
But his standard look is just normal standard Ken.
I'm talking about Street Fighter, by the way.
But the canon story is that Ryu hurt himself, and the bandana that Ryu wears is actually Ken's the tie from his hair. That's why it's red.
Huh. Wait, is Ken dead?
No. But Ryu got hurt.
They just respect themselves?
They were training. Ryu got hurt. He needed something to wrap it, so he was just like, I'm gonna keep this because we're besties. We're
This is mine now.
This is mine now.
We both went jam.
I'm gonna need that. Well, Ken's rich, so he doesn't. I mean, he can find a.
His last name is Masters. How cool is that?
Ken Masters.
That explains a lot. Because in like the recent versions, like Ken's wearing like the finest like training gear, and Ryu's still like in rags.
Yeah,
no shoes.
Ken's story is he is his family owned like business. He took it over. The Masters. I don't know what they do. I don't know what the business is.
Doesn't matter.
It's classic.
Business,
It's classic. If we go into fighting game stories, they're hilarious. The fact that people like clamor for a good story mode in a fighting game, sometimes I kind of go, why?
That is important.
It is. It's important. It's fun. But then when you actually delve in, you're like, man, what was I asking for? Wait, what is happening?
You're right. I haven't finished the Tekken 7 story mode because I can't play Heihachi.
And you have to play him.
And you have to finish. I think is the last chapter. I don't know. I haven't gotten past it.
You do have to play him a lot near the end. I remember completing it.
And
he's kind of the main character.
I'm throwing King moves and they're not working because it's not King.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh right, that's a different kick. And it's a really tough fight too because Jin is like not Jin. Kazuya is like super devil and it's bullshit.
Of course. Not just a standard devil.
Not standard. He's like amazing god.
I remember having a hard time.
He's a devil. He's a god level devil. Yeah.
God level devil.
Well, I mean, for people who aren't privy to the Tekken story surrounds the Mishima bloodline and how each one of them, Heihachi, Kazuya, and Jin, grandfather, father, and son, just want to throw each other off of cliffs and kill each other for various different reasons.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that Heihachi's kind of the good guy in all of it. He just wants to kill the devil gene.
Yeah.
He just wants to get rid of it. He knows how bad it is. Tekken's hilarious.
In this one,
and he has a fighting bear.
Yeah. Jin really takes a back seat in this one.
Yeah, he's like story mode. He doesn't really show up too often.
No,
but he's
he's been like main character in the past.
Yeah, he was the poster boy ever since Tekken 3. It kind of surrounded him. Literally the poster boy.
Wait, what did you want to start with, Jared? You seem like you had a starting point.
My itinerary
and we're already off of
was
it.
to talk about fighting games with Dragon Ball's Fighter Z, and then we're going to talk about other stuff. So honestly, we're right on track.
Just like we drew it up.
One of the things I've noticed between when I got like my first playthrough on Tekken 7, and then some of the things I've been watching on different YouTube's videos that pop up, is when they change moves or like they alter what they do like game to game.
Yeah.
Because like King's uppercut, sometimes like it's just like an ordinary pop up, and then sometimes they pop way up and there's enough time to like get in position and do some more moves. And the times it's like, oh, so it's a regular pop up. And one of the ones that I hated was I don't know the names of any of this shit, where he does like this really like wind up step forward straight punch. In that
King.
Yeah. And that used to be like an automatic knockdown. And now it's like it's a spin with a daze. So you punch them, like they just kind of like spin around and they're dazed for a
yes,
second.
I know what you're talking about. Yep.
And I'm like, why isn't that not a knockdown anymore? I hate that.
This is just Alex airing his grievances about Tekken 7.
But that's the one that I've noticed because I was playing Tekken Revolutions for so long.
Yeah.
That's all I had for the longest time because I only know one character, so I never played Tag Tournament 2. I owned it, but I was like, I'm terrible at this. And then when I've been watching videos here and there, and one of the things that came up was how the latest Street Fighter took away Zangief's green fist or whatever they call it.
Green hand, yep.
Yeah, and now he does like this kick, catch, and spin instead.
I mean, so when it comes to fighting games, I mean, characters. Everyone gets used to playing characters, and so yeah, those changes can throw people off. But it's also
that was like Geef's only way to get in. Was Green Hand.
Yeah.
EX Green Hand. I hear them say that a lot.
It also negated fireballs.
Yeah. Didn't know that.
That was
You just like punch them.
That was its original kind of function, so to speak. But yeah, he would like the green of the hand. It would just negate a fireball because
obviously
can do that.
It's like shooting a fireball with a fireball.
But it's funny. Recently in Street Fighter V, they added a move back to Ryu, called the the nomenclature, what people call it, is the donkey kick.
Okay.
Because he first got the move back in Street Fighter 3, and that was a big thing for Street Fighter 3 because it's Ryu. He's always had the fireball, the Shoryuken, and the hurricane kick, Tatsumaki Senpu Kyaku. And
yeah. I think he did that last time he was on too.
Probably. I like to show off. But those are and he had the fake fireball in Street Fighter 2 Turbo. But he hadn't really gotten a new move, so it's like everyone's like, he's got this. What is this? And it would like basically like, almost like a super kick that would bounce them off the wall, and he could combo off of it. And so people had heard rumors. They're like, oh, he's getting it back in Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V is it's in its third year now. So they continue to make changes. And they gave him the move back. A, it doesn't look like a donkey kick. And B, it could be animated a lot better. Like he kind of just throws like a high kick, just a high kick, like a standing high kick.
Like it looks like a kick.
And it doesn't have like, it's got this weird impact, and it's very strange, but it's the same command as the old donkey kick, but it just doesn't, and it's just, so it's a little disappointing, because they're like, okay, we'll bring back something that people really wanted, and then it's like,
but not really.
But no, but it actually,
we brought it back accompanying a middle finger.
Like,
does he have that kick in Smash Brothers?
I believe so.
Because I'm watching a video right now and it just looks like a sidekick. Like it's a sidekick.
Like, and it makes it even, if you go back and you watch the full animation of basically anything, but this particular move in Street Fighter 3 and how beautifully it's animated, and then watch it now, it's like, it makes you miss 2D. It makes you miss like 2D fighting games because that hand-drawn, sprite-based 2D, like it was magic. And I mean, I understand why companies don't do it anymore because it costs a lot of money and it's a lot of time, and so I get it from a logistics standpoint, but it is a little disappointing. And that's actually a good segue into a lot of the stuff that I think we want to talk about today. JR, you already mentioned Dragon Ball FighterZ. Dragon Ball FighterZ Z. It is very important to, you're going to see a lot of people saying, oh, it's Dragon Ball Z Fighters.
Yeah.
No. Dragon Ball Z Fighter Z.
Wrong. Yeah, it's not Dragon Ball Fighter Z. It's Dragon Ball FighterZ with Z at the end.
Fighters.
Because
it's like
totally
Super Saiyan God.
No,
Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan.
Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan.
That's the actual term.
What doesn't make sense?
Because when you go Super Saiyan God, you look like normal, but you're like kind of red. But then when you go Super Saiyan as the Super Saiyan God, Then you go blue.
Your hair turns blue.
And the
As
technical
one does.
term
You don't
is
have to go red to go blue.
Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan.
Where'd you learn that?
The internet.
No one. All right, Vegeta's never gone red, so he goes straight to blue,
He doesn't need red.
and he's still. So it's just Super Saiyan blue or Super Saiyan red.
Right. I don't know.
But it actually is called Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan.
Is this what it is in the game, or is this just
No, I mean that's the canon terminology.
'Cause
For
I've never heard that
When
before.
their hair is blue,
Yeah.
the canon terminology is Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan.
Yep.
SSGSS.
God, I hate that.
Isn't that great?
Hey man, I don't make these up.
So this is the first.
I just like it when it. No, it's just blue.
Yeah.
Super
Now
Saiyan
that's
blue.
now
Super
it's,
Saiyan blue,
it's much
Super Saiyan
easier.
Rose,
It's much easier
you know.
to just say blue. It is much easier to just say blue. I don't blame you, but the actual canon terminology is Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan.
This is arguably, and again, having played Dick in the last 10 years, the first time that I've been interested in a Dragon Ball game since Budokai 3. Because the original 3 Budokai games I really dug, because it was like the first time I ever got to play Dragon Ball Z as a video game. Because there have been games before that, but they were all like Japanese ports, and you could never get them. Even if you did, you had to have a Japanese console.
Dragon Ball GT Final Bout.
That's the one everyone always talked about.
I had it.
Yeah.
I think I still have it.
Yeah, but GT was the worst series,
It was.
It was. It's not canon. Akira Toriyama had nothing to do with it.
It retconned.
which is why it was.
This
terrible.
suddenly became a Dragon Ball episode.
But like, I remember the original Budokai. Me and my friends didn't even know how to charge up. We just figured only the computer could do it. Budokai 2, I had an unstoppable Vegeta because that's when you could have like the customized capsules, and my Vegeta was the bee's knees. And then Budokai 3, like I really dug again, especially at the tournament. Joe has like the most amazing story with that, where he beat Omega Shenron. Having barely played the game before on the hardest difficulty, it was insane, and so on and so forth. But since then, I haven't really touched.
Well, since then, there's been 1,000 Dragon Ball games.
Yeah, the Tenkai.
But there's so much more than that.
Yeah.
So,
There's so
I mean,
many.
So
Like I'm saying 100, like it's exaggeration.
it's
kind of not.
It's not. So I mean, the Dragon Ball franchise has been around for a long time. I'm forgetting years right now, but if I remember correctly, Dragon Ball Z began in Japan in 1989.
Yeah.
So I mean, Dragon Ball obviously preceded that in the mid 80s. The Dragon Ball franchise has been around for quite some time. And like anything else, it has spawned toys and video games and all sorts of other, merchandise and paraphernalia. But of course, given its content of people fighting,
Yeah.
it makes for a good action game, and it's had a ton of fighting games.
But like when I've wanted to play one, and I would be like, well, make sure you only play a good one. And I go, all right, well, which one's the good one?
Exactly.
And
exactly.
they'll say a name, and then I'll go to the store and be like, are one of these 6 games on the shelf right now the good one, or I forgot? I can't tell,
And it's so you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Like,
and so I haven't played any.
so I think what happened is when you grow up, I've always been a fan of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. Like, it's always kind of been growing up. It was a centerpiece. I just loved it. I loved the show. I loved the characters. So it's always been kind of like a big deal of my fandom. It's always been a part of my fandom. So when it comes to a thing like that, you kind of take what you can get. And so, like, now if you go back and play the Budokai games now, we all look at them fondly, but if you go back and play it now, you might be a little disappointed because they're not that great, really. Like you can have fun with them, but they're not, like, the system is really clunky and the fighting isn't exactly smooth. And it was like that for a lot of Dragon Ball games. A lot. Like, even the Super Nintendo era, the PlayStation 1 era, like, you take what you can get. So with Dragon Ball FighterZ, the reason that people were really, really excited for this is because the company that handles the Guilty Gear series, Guilty Gear and BlazBlue,
which are like two of the most respected.
Yep,
That's like high quality fighting games. Like you wear a suit and tie when you play them. only the finest, competitors play.
I've tried watching some Guilty Gear, and I don't know what's happening
Me neither.
because there's
Yeah.
so much
I can't
bullshit
get
on
it.
the
So
screen.
and see, Guilty Gear. I mean, I've always really enjoyed the series. It's not really like my forte. I enjoy playing it. And I've tried to get into it more than one occasion. It is a little tough to get into, a little tough to break into. I feel like it's also very gratifying if you can get over that hump with that game, because the characters in that game are excellent. It's what's known as an anime fighter.
Yeah.
For kind of obvious reasons. I mean, you look at the art style, but also the term anime fighter also pertains to usually the mechanics inherent to the game. So usually games that have a lot of like air dashing and are more up-tempo, fast-paced are usually considered anime games. You might consider, and this is another game we're probably going to talk about today, the Marvel Versus series to actually be something of an anime fighter.
Okay.
It has the air dashing. It has that fast, up-tempo gameplay that kind of sets itself apart from Street Fighter or Tekken, which are more slow, strategic, footsie-based fighting games. So when people heard that the company that has always put such great effort, and I'm going to probably use this word a lot, love into the Guilty Gear series, when they heard that they were getting their hands on the Dragon Ball IP, people were very excited because they're like, wow, this could be an interesting product. We're getting an IP that we all grew up with and love, which is also very hot right now. Dragon Ball Super is up and running. I know it's going to end in March, but I've been watching it. I caught up on it, and if you grew up with Dragon Ball, you'd love
It's
Dragon
vintage.
Ball.
I'm a
Super.
couple episodes behind.
It's pretty awesome.
I think I was at like 124.
You're not that far behind. You're only like
I'm
two.
like 2-3 episodes.
Yeah, you're only like 2 behind.
Yeah.
I think 126 just came out last week. But so Dragon Ball is kind of hot again right now, which is really cool. And you've got Dragon Ball Fighters coming out.
So everything you're saying sounds cool, but
I'm gonna let you finish.
from like a casual schmuck standpoint, who like I rarely go to the game store. I don't browse gaming websites and news, whatever. And like Vela, our past guest, messaged me and he was like, "Hey, are you in the beta for Fighters?" And I was like, "No, it's like a Dragon Ball game just came out like last year." Like I was in November, I was debating between getting Injustice 2 or Xenosaga 2.
Xenoverse.
Xenoverse? Wow. What's Xenosaga?
Dragon Ball Xenoverse.
I forgot where I got Saga from.
2. Yeah. Xenosaga was a
A different
RPG.
game. Anyway. So yeah, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Because I was seeing a lot of like the customization's amazing. You can fully customize your independent character versus other character. And I was like, this really intrigues me. This is something I'd want to
It's
get
like an
into.
MMO style.
Yeah. But there was still like a player versus player element to it. And I was almost going to buy that, but then didn't because I realized I didn't have free time anymore. But it was that or DC's Injustice 2. And then he was like, yeah, well, here's another game. And I was like, we just got a Dragon Ball game. Why are we getting another? It's been a year.
Plus, there was the one.
But like, I looked it up. It was October 2016, so it's been over a year.
Remember the one that was
Fighters just came
online?
out in
It had. I
January.
think it had a couple like updates, and I think it got re-released on Switch. So
Right.
that
What
was
What was the one that was online that you played for a little while?
I forgot the name of it.
Where like you created your own Z fighter?
that was
was
that's
Xenoverse.
Xenoverse.
That was oh okay.
So there's
shut up then.
there's been Dragon Ball Xenoverse and then Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. And
Whatever
both
I
of them were like
had
MMO
on my-
style.
Whatever it had on my PS3, I forgot the name of it.
Right.
But it was one that I just downloaded, so it wasn't like a physical disc that I bought.
Right.
Which is what I prefer to do with games anyway.
No. And you can resell them.
Yeah. For $4,
Yep.
you want Destiny 1, 50 cents.
Ooh.
Anyway,
So to
to
answer your question, why should I be interested in this?
So,
Dragon
but like
Ball
hearing
game?
you explain it, it's like, well, it's a fighting game. It's not what Xenoverse is. And I'm like, all right. And then like, well, the makers of it, the people who have made this and this and this, and this is the style to be in. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess that's different. But in my head, it's like, do we really need that right now? Do we? Because we just got.
I mean, so from a fighting game standpoint,
Right.
I personally think yes, fighting games needed this game right now, and So to answer your question directly, why would even the casual audience be interested in this game? If you are a Dragon Ball fan, and you've been looking for a game that is going to have all the characters you love, presented well, that is enough to grab you. But then when you get into the game,
since it's been out and like seeing clips of it and seeing footage of it, it looks beautiful.
it is gorgeous.
It really
Not only is it
looks
gorgeous,
amazing.
but I use that term love when I was talking about Arxis and their treatment of the Guilty Gear series. One of the first batch of stuff that came out about this game was just a lot of clips, a lot of gameplay footage and things like that. And that was cool enough. You're seeing the characters animated and they're animated beautifully. But then what put me over the top and really got me like, okay, I'm strapped in, I'm ready to go, give me more of this, was the amount of detail. One of the best examples that I can give is if anybody's fans of this series, there's Trunks. And Trunks is the son of Vegeta, who is kind of the anti-hero to Goku's protagonist role. Trunks, in one of the storylines, he comes back from the future. So he is simply known as Future Trunks. He is a teenage or adult Trunks. He's grown up, and he's kind of learned how to fight through other means due to survival. Like, his future was destroyed by the androids, so he comes back from the future to take care of some things, to try to get help in his future. And he has an attack called the Burning Attack. And it's your classic Dragon Ball Ki Blast, big beam, big explosion. But what sets it apart is he makes a lot of motions with his hands.
Right.
And they're very meticulous. It's like no one else does anything like that.
Right, yeah.
When they transferred that move to the game, it is frame for frame the exact same thing that occurred in both the manga and then the anime. Frame for frame. All of his hand motions are exactly the same as they were in the original source material manga. And it's like, seeing that was like, wow. Like, okay, you've got me. Like,
any other company would have just like, I don't know, just put a blur.
Yeah, just put Trunks in the
put
game.
Something.
Put
have
Trunks
his hands
in the
do
game.
whatever, I guess, and then he shoots the thing.
And on top of that, as we started to learn more,
Give him the same hand motion Vegeta does, because they're they're
it's
related.
his
So it's
son.
obviously it's just do the same thing.
on top of that, just before the game came out, they released they would have these dramatic finishes. If you beat your opponent in a certain way, like easy example I can give
I've seen some of these.
is like, say you're playing as Goku and you finish Frieza with, and it's not even like a super particular move. It just has to be a move that kind of like, under normal circumstances would like send the opponent flying.
Okay.
And there's a few moves that do that. So it's not even super particular. But if you happen to finish the fight, if you happen to finish Frieza off with one of these moves, the game goes into a cutscene that mirrors the death scene of Frieza during the Frieza saga.
Really?
Like, Goku goes to fly away. He's going to leave Frieza to die on the exploding planet Namek. Frieza goes, no, you don't, and tries to like shoot one final blast at Goku. Goku turns around, blows him up.
calls him a fool.
Yeah, like, you're a fool. Like, it blows him
I
up.
just gave you my energy.
And it's exactly like it was from the manga and the anime. And it's like, wow. Like, there's even scenes.
Because I've seen the ones where like that you give them knockback and they get thrown back into the boulder.
There's those.
Or
Like, there's like stage transitions.
and the ones where it's like you see the key blast and like it zooms way back, like it's an open field, but you see the blast through like miles
Like,
away.
those can happen in tons of situations. But then you've got these like super specific, and they don't even happen at the end of a fight, which is what's even cooler to me. So there's one example where if you have a team with Teen Gohan and Android 16.
Android 16. Which one's 16?
16's the big one with the
green
That's
one.
the green one.
the red tuft of hair.
Never mind. Fuck me.
If you have Cell beat Android 16, and then Gohan is the next incoming character, you get the entire scene of Gohan turning Super Saiyan 2, just like from the show. And that could happen in the middle of a fight. Like, then the fight continues after that. Like you and your opponent will continue to play. And like, there's all sorts of other examples like this that are, and there's fun ones that I won't get into all of them.
You can do like the father son.
Yes.
And if you keep holding the button, he'll charge it
just
up.
like Adult Gohan has another version. Like, he will fire a Kamehameha, and he calls on Goten, his little brother, to help him. If you have Goku on the team, Goku will also jump in behind the two of them and shoot his own. And it doesn't add anything to the damage of the attack, but it's this
It looks cool.
inclusion, and it's like,
They didn't have to do that.
no, and they went to town on the detail in this game, and then to top it all off, to really answer your question of like, why would somebody who just wants to sit down and have some fun with an IP that I really enjoy, the entry level for this game is it's right in everybody's wheelhouse. I can't imagine somebody sitting down and playing this game and having a tough time figuring out the mechanics. They're all very right in front of you.
I don't know.
You misunderestimate our ineptitude.
I don't like. I've played a lot of fighting games. And
I'm possibly the worst.
This one,
Street Fighter / Capcom /
what turns a lot of
Marvel.
people off about a lot of traditional fighting games is the inputs.
Yeah.
I know people who still can't do a charge motion to do a sonic boom in Street Fighter. I know people who still struggle.
Well, you don't just Sonic Boom? You have to charge it first?
Well,
You have to hold back
it's a
for 2
charge move.
seconds.
You hold back for a certain amount of time, depending on the game, and then you forward. And then same thing with Guile. His flash kick is you hold down for a certain amount of time, and then you go up in a kick, and he does his flash kick. Staple moves, but for some people, these are challenging. Same thing with Ryu and Ken's trademark Shoryuken. It's a dragon punch motion. It's forward, down, down, forward. That's tricky for some people. Those motions aren't even in this game. The only motion you'll ever have to do is a quarter circle forward, a fireball, which it's pretty much the easiest. And on top of that, you can play the game and have success without even doing those. The game has auto combos where you just hit one button and it will generate a combo. You can then step up from that and learn more intricate combos. So there's levels. Like, it eases you in, it grabs you, and then it opens the door to like the whole width and breadth of the game. And that's why I feel like it's grabbed so many people. Like, it's got the strong IP, it's a gorgeous game, like, done well, and it's also it's both accessible, and so far it's early. It's only been out for I think 2 to 3 weeks now. It's showing that it has depth. I'm still seeing people discover new things, which in this day and age doesn't always happen. We have YouTube and we have Twitter and all sorts of, and Discord, and information gets found and passed around at an incredibly quick rate nowadays when it comes to any game, let alone fighting games. I think the game is wonderful.
But like, what you're saying with these, if we'll call them simplified controls, how is that going to play to like the pro playing community? Like, is it too easy for them, or why are they still invested in it?
They're still invested in it because there are other combo mechanics. So if you can play the game with the auto combos and have success, that there will come a point where you do have to kind of level up and try to perform the more intricate combos. The thing about this game, though, if you learn how to combo with one character, you've now learned the combo system with 3/4 of the cast. The way they made the game was that there's a base, and you can always take that base and transfer it over to the character that you would really want to learn, and then go from there. Because obviously the characters are different. They have their own individual special moves, and their actual attacks are different. But the combo mechanics are streamlined enough where once you know the rules, you can play anywhere. And I think that's another big turnoff for people. It's because like if I learn how to combo with Ryu, that doesn't mean I'm going to know how to combo with Guile. It's very different. So with this, like if I sit down and I'm just gonna try to fool around with Goku, learn Goku, baseline character. Okay, I went and I played Vegeta, and some of this transfers over. That helps a lot. I don't feel lost learning this new character. Now I'm gonna play Cell. I still don't feel lost. Okay. I still have a baseline where I can learn on my own, and that's impressive. That they've been able to pull that off, where it is pulling in the casual audience while also pulling in the more hardcore, the people who really want to dig and really get the most juice out of this game. It's also it's 3v3, not 1v1, so you do have to play as 3 characters, which can seem daunting.
That's the part that kind of trips me up, because I did play the beta, and I beat every level of the tutorial. I don't want to brag. I'm not trying to brag, but I did complete the tutorial 100%. Like I beat every portion of it, and that's all I did. But I had it. I thought I was doing great up until they introduced like the tag mechanic, and I was like, "This, I'm already overstimulated. Like my brain it just shuts off when it comes to, okay, you thought you had it. Now those are all the basics. Now here's the actual meat." And I couldn't. I had trouble with it.
I think because this game is 3v3, people immediately think of the Marvel vs. games.
Yep.
Where tagging seems like a very like, oh man, I need to be able to do this. That's not really a necessity in this game. Like, obviously you want to learn it to be able to like, okay, my guy's dying. I gotta tag out. But it's not. It's something that you can, like the other mechanics, kind of, work into your game over time. And once you realize, you're like, oh, this is way more streamlined than I originally like anticipated. And like I said, that baseline that it gives you, like, it makes learning 3 characters much easier than. I mean, I remember back when I was playing Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. If I'm learning Wesker, Wolverine, and Doom, Dr. Doom, like those 3 characters are vastly different. Like
I owned that game for 3 days, and then I returned it.
Yeah, and see, I'm actually glad you said that, because that is a lot of people's experiences with fighting games. Mm-hmm. There is a high chance for frustration. There's a high chance for frustration with these games, and I mean I get it as somebody who's been playing these literally since the dusty arcades. For me, it's kind of second nature. Part of the fun I've had with Dragon Ball is that it is new. Like when I sit down to play Street Fighter, if I sit down to play Tekken, I have like kind of a template. Mm-hmm. Like I know, like, okay, I know that this will work, and I know kind of how this is going to work. And then, okay, now I just got to get used to the new mechanics for the new game.
I'm going to play Phoenix. I got hit 3 times and I died.
With Dragon Ball, it was all new to me.
Yeah.
Like I've played Guilty Gear. I have a working notion of that game, but I know it's made by the same people, and a lot of the stuff does carry over, but a lot of the stuff doesn't. This is a new animal, mm-hmm. and that's not daunting. Like I was able to sit down and just play around in training mode and figure out my own combos and own strategies that worked just by learning my characters. And these are, I mean, I don't have a template for this game.
I kind of hate training mode.
I love training mode.
I can't stand it.
You gotta hit the lab, man.
Gotta hit that lab.
No way.
Gotta lab it up.
What is that going to teach me?
Everything.
I'm going to stand there and face a static character who doesn't do anything.
You don't.
And then I'm just going to, oh, right, the punch button does punch and the kick button does kick. I could do that while actually playing the arcade mode or the story mode.
Well, I mean, you could, but
so
how do you get down your strategies
by actually playing the game?
I mean,
Justin Wong, actually, the famed Justin Wong, has been posting little snippets of notes on Instagram for Dragon Ball FighterZ, and one of the ones that he posted was, "Don't mash Super Dash after a blocked heavy attack. Try to hit confirm. Go to training mode and put a dummy on random guard to train your eyes for this." one example.
But I'm not going to do that out of the gate when I buy the game. When I buy a game, you know what I want to do? Play the game.
You got to lab it first.
That's so boring.
Hit the lab.
See, okay, okay. I'll give you an alternative. I'll give you an alternative.
What I'm going to do,
okay,
I'll put the game in. I'll play for a bit, and then see how I do. And then if I'm realizing like I'm stalling out or something isn't working, then I'll go check the move list. And then I'll go practice the move list, and I'll go practice some things that will appeal to me or that I think will combat what I'm encountering. But I'm not going to sit in there from the very start. Because like when we both got Tekken 7, we got it at the same time, and we started playing, and I'm like, I messaged you at one point, and I'm like, this connection rate is complete shit. And you're like, oh, I haven't been online yet. And I'm like, we've both had it for 5 days. You haven't even gone. You haven't met an opponent. And you're like, no, I haven't. And like we'd watch, be like, all right, he's in training mode.
I gotta get my stuff down. I want to know what the new stuff looks like. I want to know how to react to it. Like, so for me,
I'm over here. I learned by doing.
So Dragon Ball Fighters, what I did, after I installed it, I got it on PC. I installed it. I had a little struggle. It wasn't reading my arcade stick, so I got that figured out. But once I got that figured out, the first thing I did was I went. There's a kind of a combo challenge mode. So I did that with every character because for me, I didn't know who I wanted to play. I had a good idea. I have my favorite characters, but I did. So I was like, oh, I'll go in a combo challenge because I know it'll kind of show me what some of the special moves do, kind of give me a chance to fool around with the characters that I didn't get to play in the beta or that I haven't seen a lot of yet. And I just went through and did everybody's combo challenge and got a good feel for what everybody does.
Yeah.
And then I went from there, and I picked my team from there, and then I started fooling around in training mode. It wasn't until the I think the next morning that I tried any online match at all. And that was just because I want to get a feel for the game, like the speed of how I move before I go and I play other people.
What was that? What was the Marvel game you mentioned? Not the current one, the one before that.
Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Yeah. That the practice list of like you have to do these moves, fill in your boxes or whatever that was.
Yeah.
It's like do this certain block or this certain attack. I did maybe one of those and then couldn't get past it. And I was like, I don't want to do this.
I had similar when I thought I was going to go pro in Street Fighter 4. Back in the day, I bought Street Fighter 4, I bought an arcade stick. I was like, if this is going to be cake, I'm going to be Evo champion next year. And then I went to there's a thing where you could learn a fighter's moves. You go, and you it's like, oh, hey, you did this move. Here's the next one for you to do, and it would get into some serious combos. And I stalled out on every single character. Like no matter what character I tried, I was like, maybe I'm good with Geef. I'm like the next Snake Eyes. I'm Evo champ next year, and I can't play Geef at all, because it's all spins and charges and
like the way you play isn't what it's showing you in the learning process.
Yeah, and I'm not good at, especially with combos in Street Fighter 4. I could not get the timing down. I always messed it up.
As somebody who, for the breadth of my, and I'm gonna laugh at myself when I use this term, my fighting game career, I've never been very good at execution. And that is the actual carrying out of combos and special moves. It's never been my forte, so I definitely feel both of your pains when it comes to stuff like that. And because of that, I fully understand. Going back to people's frustrations with fighting games, because I always like to ask people the question, why don't more people play these? Because I've played them all my life and I find them so much fun. And then I see people playing other games that have aspects of fighting games. And I go, well, you like that? Why not try this? And and a lot of it comes down to that barrier. And that's why, coming back, I'm just showering Dragon Ball Fighters with praise. I feel like this game, it doesn't have that barrier. Like at all times, you feel like you're capable because it doesn't throw anything at you that is too difficult. And then even and then there's kind of always a next level. Like you're like, okay, I've got this down and now I can do I just feel like Arxis the company who worked on it, that developed it, they had a lot of people, and the hardcore fighting game community was a little nervous. They were like, "Oh man, is this going to be another one of those? Like, is this going to be too easy to play?" Because Street Fighter V received kind of a strange backlash from people for being considered too easy to play. And I mean, I could see that. I see where they're coming from. That, you know, some people argue, oh, well, it leads to a lack of depth, and that's bad for the lifespan of the game. So I could see that.
I just watched a clip of someone recorded a stream of Low Tier God who got beat by some random Akuma, and he was flipping out about it.
Well,
Was that legendary one with K-Brad in the background?
I don't. Low Tier God is a known fighting game troll. I don't even think
who
he's
is the guy
serious.
who he said he was gonna hump his mom or something like that? Have you ever seen that one?
I don't know. That I must have missed that one. But
Anyways,
but the weird thing about the fighting game community, the FGC, is this is a genre of games that birthed itself in the arcades.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, it can be a little cutthroat.
Mm-hmm.
Back when I was learning how to play Tekken, I couldn't play it at home to learn how.
Right.
Like, I had to go to the arcade, plunk down some tokens, and then beat somebody else to hope to get more time. And
my version is hope no one else is there to fight me.
or that. No, absolutely. Like, there were times when I went and I'm like, oh, good, no one's on the machine. That means I can practice some of what I want to practice against the computer. And then if somebody shows up, maybe that will give me enough to be able to beat them. Mm-hmm. And that was my childhood. That was my teenage years. And that carried over even into, like, you know, my late teenage years and 20s when I started going to tournaments and whatnot. So because that's where the fighting games come from, we now live in a time where it's this strange dynamic. I describe, the best analogy I can come up with is being the fan of a band, and that band finally makes it big, and then everyone likes that band, and that band starts to make music that caters to a wider audience, and you get upset with that band, and you lash out against that band. That's kind of like, I think the first example of it is Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V, a lot of people considered it to be dumbed down, to be watered down. And
well, you want to sell a game to more players than just the tournament champions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Street Fighter IV had caused an explosion
when
in
it's
fighting
like
games.
When a game comes out and like I'll take a look at it and be like, oh, well, that's for competitive players, so I'm not gonna buy. I'm gonna stay away from it because I can't compete. So why would I spend money on it?
Yeah, it's a turnoff.
Like, it's nothing's in it for me.
Yeah, it's a turnoff from you wanting to even attempt to play that game. And Street Fighter V put itself in a very funny place. It came out. Now, time would go on, and we would learn more about the situation. Street Fighter V was a joint effort from both Sony and Capcom. Capcom, come to find out, didn't really want to make Street Fighter V. Street Fighter 4 had been huge for them. It had revitalized an IP that they were very well known for, but Street Fighter 3 wasn't critically well taken. It didn't do particularly well, and it's looked at fondly now for the most part. But at the time, Street Fighter 3 did not do well. So when Street Fighter 4 came out, it was kind of like, I can tell you, if Street Fighter 4 had failed for whatever reason, I don't think there would be any more Street Fighter. I think that would have been it for the franchise. But it didn't. It did the opposite. It exploded. And Street Fighter 4 caused a ripple effect. All of a sudden, we saw a new King of Fighters. We saw a new Tekken. We saw Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Hey, man, Tekken wasn't going to stop.
Tekken wasn't exactly doing hot.
No, it wasn't.
But it helped everybody. Street Fighter 4 helped everybody. Street Fighter 4 is the granddaddy. It's the most... Everybody knows Ryu and Ken. Everybody knows Chun-Li. Everybody knows Guile.
Sunday night at Evo.
Yep. It's always the mainline game. So Street Fighter V came out, and the funny thing about Street Fighter V is Sony put money into it because they definitely wanted to get in on the esports game. They definitely wanted esports. this isn't the first time that esports has tried to get the FGC. The FGC has never responded well to having to dress themselves up to esports. They, like I go back to, they're used to being in the arcades. They're used to running their own tournaments. They're used to doing things the way that they do them. Mm-hmm. And the glitz and the glamour of the esports isn't exactly the FGC. It's not. It's the FGC is a little more hard-edged. You know, they really don't care about what you think. And so they don't feel like they need that added help from esports, and they don't feel like they need, like, you know, Sony's money. They've been doing it on their own for a long time. So Street Fighter V comes out, and it came out as a very bare bones package when you think about video games. There was no story mode. There was no tutorial. There was training. There was versus, and there was online versus, and that was it. And so that turned away a lot of the casual audience.
Turned me away. I was planning on buying it.
Yeah.
And then when I was like, wait, it only...
I
can't screw around by myself and not be embarrassed when I get annihilated.
Exactly. And I think, and of course, then you have, you had the echo chamber. That's when the echo chamber woke up. And it's like, well, why do you need a story mode? You shouldn't need a story mode. That's not even what this game is really about. Okay, I get where that sentiment is coming from. But I also know what sells a video game. I also saw how well games like Mortal Kombat 9 and 10 were very robust packages of games. People liked those. People enjoyed those. They were also very good competitive games. They had a good lifespan. NetherRealm Studios supported them. They were good games. Good games overall. They had lots to do even when you're sitting alone. So Street Fighter V seemed to please kind of no one for a little while. Like, everyone seemed very upset with Street Fighter V because they were like, oh, this is too easy to play. Well, we made it easier to play because we wanted the casual audience. The casual audience doesn't want it because there's nothing for them to do except go online and hope that they can win.
And find another filthy casual.
Exactly.
So we then fast...
Oh, right. I'm sorry, go on.
No, go for it.
Wasn't like an arcade mode or story mode like a DLC?
Yes, story mode was added later.
Was it a free? You had to pay for it, though.
No, it was free.
It was a free download?
It was free.
But it wasn't with launch of the game?
Nope.
Oh, my God.
As was a lot of stuff didn't. A lot of stuff would then be added to the game as time went on, but it didn't come with the game, which was another... Like, you know, when that game first dropped, you know, the expectation was that people were going to play this online. The online was rough. It was poor. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't think of anybody who had a good experience online with that game for quite some time after launch. It was a very frustrating experience. Getting matches was difficult. When you were in a match, it was a mess. So it was kind of like, this is what you gave us. What held people steadfast was the fact that it was still coming off of Street Fighter 4's success. People were still high on Street Fighter. Mm-hmm. And when you actually played with someone and it was, you know, head-to-head local, you had a good time. It was an enjoyable game for a while until the depth started to show and people started to question its depth. It's obviously still had a strong lifespan, but it has not been without its critics. Even the people who continue to play it continue to criticize it. Why they continue to play it, I don't know. That's on them. But we then fast forward to Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Mm-hmm. And the reason that is connected to...
What a segue. What a segue.
The reason that this all comes full circle is recently EVO, the big stage for fighting games all year, every year, had its games announcement. And Marvel vs. Capcom...
Which is a big deal.
It is a huge... EVO is the big turn. It's the end... You could say it's the end of the... It's the Super Bowl. I guess I hate to use that term, but it's the Super Bowl of fighting games.
It's an easy comparison.
Yeah, it's the big one. If it can only house so many games. It basically picks the top 8 games of that current year. What are people playing? What do we want to showcase? What deserves to be showcased? And when the announcements came out, there was a worry amongst people who do still play Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite that their game wouldn't be at EVO. And sure enough, the announcements were made, and Infinite was absent. In Infinite's place are 3 games from Arc Systems Works. Why is that a big deal? EVO has always been EVO began as a Street Fighter tournament.
Okay.
And it evolved, no pun intended, into an event that was very much centered around Capcom games. Everybody knows EVO Moment 37, Daigo, Justin
Google
Wong.
It. God damn, just Google it.
It was Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. The other EVO moment that pops up a lot is Justin Wong versus, I believe it was IFC Yipes, Michael Mendoza, Yipes. Justin Wong versus Yipes in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is the happiest accident fighting games I've ever had. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was played for 10 plus years. It started out in the arcades in 99, and then it just kept going.
Everyone pretended like they loved it. Like casual fans like me, when we saw a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 cabinet, oh my god, it's Marvel vs. Capcom 2, we have to go play this, even though I'd played it 3 times in my life, maybe, ever, but I always acted like I had such high respect for it, because that's what you do. It's such a legendary game.
I was such a good player only when I got my ion cannon.
I mean, I imagine if I had an ion cannon, I'd probably do pretty good things.
I could sometimes maybe do that, and sometimes maybe do Venom's web attack.
Venom Web.
Yeah.
Venom, I'll eat your brains.
That was really it. And I hated Drill Claw. I hated just...
Berserker Barrage.
Wolverine, shut up. Shut up, Wolverine.
So, honestly, I love the fact that you brought up Wolverine because we're going to get to Wolverine.
Yeah.
Wolverine plays an important role in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Okay.
Even though he's not in it.
He's not in it?
Oh,
not
yeah.
We'll get to...
Yeah,
not a playable...
We're going to have a good time.
Yeah. So...
We're going overtime this week.
So... EVO is as synonymous with Street Fighter as it is with the Marvel vs. series.
Yeah.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2 came to prominence during the same time that EVO was also becoming more and more of an important event every year for fighting games.
Hey, what was the Justin Wong thing, by the way?
Oh, Justin Wong versus IFC Yipes. There was a match where Justin Wong was using his staple team of Storm, Sentinel, and Cyclops. For anybody who doesn't know Marvel vs. Capcom 2, quick rundown. There's 56 characters in the game. 4 of them are good. It is Cable, Storm, Magneto, Sentinel. Those are the 4. God tier, there is no one better. They are better than everybody else. Everybody else is maybe usable as an assist.
I didn't realize Cable was even in the game.
Cable is one of the poster boys of that game. Air Hyper Viper Beam.
I don't know what you just said.
He had the Hyper Viper Beam, and what made Cable...
You keep saying it. Are you okay?
He would go Hyper
I think Ken's
Viper.
having a stroke.
Anyway, in this match, Justin Wong was down to nothing but Cyclops against Yipes' team known as MSP, which was Magneto, Storm, and Psylocke. Psylocke was a very good assist because she could extend combos for both Storm and Magneto.
Right.
So Magneto and Storm, super hyper fast characters. Magneto had an infinite, so if he got you, your character was going to die.
And it was allowed. You're allowed to use that.
Absolutely. Mind you, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was broken beyond all repair, but that's why people loved it.
Was it tough to get the setup for the infinite? Or did you see it? Was
So,
it like wobbling?
Against good
opponents,
opponents, they're going to make it difficult. But that game was also predicated off of, if I touch you, you're going to die. But I know that sounds awful, but to watch it play, first off, it's also, these things aren't easy to do. Even performing the infinite requires a high level of execution, like lots of practice. Like, it's not easy.
Infinite means I could start hitting you, extend that into a combo that just goes until you're done.
A loop of moves that I can perform that will not let you out of the combo and until you die. Yes.
So death is the only escape. Death is the only escape.
Yes. Or hoping that they drop that combo.
So Justin Wong
is left with nothing but old Scott Summers, my boy, Cyclops. Now, Cyclops is a good character.
The lesser Summers brother, to be honest.
We're going to have to shut this down.
Continue.
That's all the time we have.
So, Cyclops is a good character in Marvel, too.
Yeah.
But he's not one of the God Four. He's not that great. Justin Wong pulls off a comeback with nothing but Cyclops. And it is met with thunderous applause and the commentator losing his mind, just going, Justin Wong! And he's losing it. And it was amazing. And this is the other Evo moment. So Evo has been as synonymous with the Marvel series. Marvel's Capcom 2 was an important aspect of Evo's growth. Mm-hmm. And then Marvel's Capcom 3 came out, and thankfully it was also a very good game, and people loved it. I loved watching it. I didn't play it as much. I kind of dropped out of it, but I always loved watching it. It was always so much fun. Mm-hmm. The character diversity was there. It was just tons of fun. And then Infinite. So, the Marvel's Capcom Infinite was kind of surprisingly announced. No one there was rumors here and there. But it was following, Street Fighter V. And so people were already skeptical. We've seen what Capcom has given us with Street Fighter V. What are they going to give us with Infinite?
Well, I mean, obviously, when you say Marvel, a lot of the Marvel heroes. Let's go over all the X-Men who are in Marvel's Capcom Infinite.
Done.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Now.
Wait.
This is where we have to talk about the landscape. Now, I talked earlier.
Hang on.
I know. You're stunned. You're shocked. Do you need us to stop for a second?
I've been waiting an hour to get to this.
Do you need us to stop for a second?
There's no X-Men.
I'm hearing word. Still no X-Men. Now,
sorry.
No, it's and I can tell your laughter is not it's not joy.
This is ridiculous.
You think we're joshing you. Oh, we're not joshing you. We're not pulling your leg. There's no X-Men.
There's no Cyclops. No Wolverine.
As a fan of comic books and somebody who follows Marvel and their dealings, you know the current landscape of Marvel.
Yeah.
There's no way they would take that pettiness and bring it into a video game.
Wait. How many Fantastic Four members are in the game? Okay, good.
Let me check. None.
All right, so we're on the same page.
Then again, were the Fantastic Four ever in Marvel's Capcom?
No.
Okay.
No, but Dr. Doom was...
And he's a staple.
And Super Skrull also made an appearance, which I thought was actually a much better choice than putting all four members of the Fantastic Four, because Super Skrull has all the powers. You were able to get that Fantastic Four feel. I digress. But he made an appearance, and he was capable of doing that because they cared.
Yeah.
So, once again, you know the current landscape, and you know who owns Marvel and who kind of pulls the strings.
Okay.
So, as more information about Infinite comes out, people start to see the roster. And the first issue is that they're like, where are all the new characters? There's nobody new. All of these characters were in 3. That's cool. We don't dislike them. But
but Ultron's on the cover art. You've got an Ultron, right?
And then that is the other half. Why are all the new characters only from the movies?
Because that's what's popular.
Where are the X-Men? Now, the reason that that's a big deal is, first off, once again, as a comic book fan, if it weren't for the X-Men, Marvel would have gone bankrupt in the 90s.
Oh yeah,
Marvel would have been done.
They were bankrupt in the 90s.
That's right. Yeah, you're correct. So actually, that's funny, because the reason that Capcom was even able to get the license to make Marvel games back in the 90s was because Marvel was on such hard times that they were just like, look, we need to do this.
Yeah.
We need some sort of income. So they gave the license to Capcom, a Japanese video game developer.
Right.
And Capcom made X-Men Children of the Atom.
Well, that's not a very good start.
But there would be no Marvel Versus series without X-Men Children of the Atom. All the way up to Marvel's Capcom 2, that Wolverine sprite that you played as was the original Wolverine sprite from Children of the Atom.
So.
That Iceman sprite was from Children of the Atom.
Oh, shit.
That Storm sprite was from Children of the Atom.
That makes a lot of sense now.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was a giant copy-paste job. Like I said before, happy accident. Worked out beautifully. So you come to Infinite, and the characters that literally created this series are absent. They're absent. And the best we're getting is...
So all the characters in the game are the comic models, the versions of the characters. We're not getting the movie versions of the characters. We're not...
No, we definitely got movie Hawkeye. He doesn't look like comic Hawkeye.
Well, the comic... it's evolved.
No, I know. But
Like he doesn't wear the purple mask anymore.
No, I know.
It's for the best.
Does he look like Jeremy Renner? I mean, like...
A little bit.
Like, is Scarlet Witch in there? Because she's an ex-mutant, but she's in the Avengers.
Nope.
Okay.
Isn't she an Inhuman now?
You know, I don't know anymore.
Exactly.
Apparently, they're not Magneto's kids either.
Oh, yeah. Oh, don't get me. But there's no Magneto. There's no Wolverine. There's no Cyclops. There's no Storm. There's no Sentinel. There is no X-Men whatsoever.
Okay, but there's no new characters.
There are some new characters.
But
not a lot.
One of the things
and a lot of the new characters are all DLC that came later.
With Marvel trying to erase mutants, they're like, well, we have Inhumans instead, and that's why we're getting such a big push on Inhumans in the comic world and the TV show and everything. So like maybe they put some Inhumans in the game instead, right? No?
Nope, no Inhumans either.
Oh, okay.
Right. There we got Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers.
Yeah, okay.
And then a lot of the
Raccoon.
I've seen like
Rocket Raccoon. Actually, he was in Marvel 3.
Right?
He was in Marvel 3.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And on the Capcom side, even less new characters. It's a lot of the new characters were all DLC, like Black Panther, Winter Soldier, Black Widow. Capcom side, Monster Hunter. But on top of that, on top of the absence of some of these hallmark characters, the game, and this is where I probably start to rub some people the wrong way, because I know there are people out there who like this game. They play it competitively, casually. They enjoy it. It's their game. They love it.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a good video game. The lifelessness of the presentation, the lifelessness of the characters. There is no character. One of my favorite things about even Marvel 3 was just little tidbits would happen. If Magneto were to jump into the match after his teammate died in Marvel 3, he would yell, "For mutant kind!" Like, and just those little things were awesome. And like those things aren't really there anymore. Like there's none of that. And the presentation is just so flat. Like you get a little win pose, and then you get a kind of a dull win quote.
Hey man, they're getting down to brass tacks. They're streamlining.
Bare bones.
Yeah,
fighting game. That's what they want.
They're bare streaming.
So Infinite comes out. It's met with a very lackluster.
I want to say, like, meanwhile, NetherRealms is putting up like individual quotes for every single character versus character.
Yep.
Right.
And then you go and you look at a game like Injustice 2, which you can see as the closest. It is a superhero based fighting game. Like that's what Marvel's Capcom is for the most part. It's a superhero based fighting game, and it's filled to the gills with personality.
Yeah.
And
even whatever the last Mortal Kombat was. Like, I've watched a YouTube video of every single like character intro of like, oh look, it's Cassandra Cain talking to herself, or not Cain. Cage, yeah. It's Cascade. Oh, look, and it's voiced by Ashley from Hash What You Playing.
Ashley Birch.
Yeah, and like
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's because like someone play. I was looking at more Hey What You Playing stuff, and like she came up, and I was like, this is all her, because I thought they were ad lib. They were so funny. But every character has like a different. They'll say something different every single each other.
Yeah, one of my favorites is when Green Arrow matches with Green Arrow in a clash.
Oh.
And one of them says to the other, he's like, we both have a beard. I can't tell which one's the evil one. so which one is evil? Yeah, it's like, because some people will say like, oh, well, a lot of that stuff died. And when I think about that stuff dying,
I'm also bad at NetherRealm engine. I can't play Mortal Kombat. I'm bad at it. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
But a friend was playing Injustice 2, and I was playing with him and playing along in my own mode and whatever. And like the fun stuff like that is what made me want to play. Even if I might be bad at it, like it would be fun to experience.
And the other thing with Injustice is that, say you want to chill out after a long day's work and just play some single player, there's tons of single player stuff to do in that.
Yeah.
Like there's tons of against AI challenges, and there's tons of stuff to do. Meanwhile, on the other side of the coin, on the Capcom side, there isn't anything to do if you just want to chill and just have fun with the game and enjoy the game's personality. And then with Infinite, there is a lack of personality. So...
Well, it's because Ultron's a robot, so...
Yeah, obviously. He's taken control of the game, and he's just pumped out.
He absorbed the personality chip. It's just absent.
So, the announcement, well, the non-announcement of Infinite not being at EVO has it's caused a lot of emotions in the fighting game community, because there are, like I said, there are people who play it, and I mean, far be it for me to knock anybody for playing. Play what you enjoy. Play what you enjoy.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are claiming the game is dead, which nowadays is a big deal. I mean, the thing with fighting games is that they are still a niche genre. It seems like they're bigger than they are, I think, sometimes, because they've gotten so much bigger, but they are still niche.
Okay.
So for fighting games to kind of have a lasting effect, they have to have a good life cycle, and they have to get support, and that support has to come from the consumer. And Infinite did not get supported by the consumer. Tournament entries are very low, and the game itself is not exactly fun to watch. And this isn't just me who thinks this. I know it sounds like I'm kind of throwing shade at the game.
Why are you hating?
And I've played it. I tried it. I make it a point to try everything. I don't like to judge without trying it. And so, I had a buddy of mine, he stopped by with it, and we played for a few hours, and I didn't step away from it wanting to play any more of it. It was okay, but it didn't have that same feel. And this is coming from somebody, I'm a huge fan of Marvel, and yeah, part of that was just like I don't want to play as any of these characters. Like, where are my X-Men? Like that does, and I know why the decision was made. Because, well, the X-Men don't make them money anymore. Now, obviously, the big shift, now they're kind of working out a Spider-Man-esque deal where they might be able to use the X-Men in the Marvel Studios movies. And people are thinking, oh, maybe that'll have an effect on the game. But it was just announced that...
Is it too late, though?
Well, it was just announced that Infinite is not going to be on the Capcom Pro Tour, which is their fighting game tour that usually has Street Fighter and the Marvel game.
Yeah.
I didn't even hear about that.
Infinite is not going to be on the tour, which means that Capcom or Marvel have decided to cut ties with the game and will not support the game anymore. So, from that definition, yes, the game is dead.
The game's
Well,
dead.
just make a new one. Just make a better one.
That's the thing, is so Capcom, this license is only kind of temporary.
Yeah.
It's kind of just at the behest of Marvel. Marvel went to Capcom and said, make this game. We want you to make this game. Similar to the way Sony went to Capcom and make this game. We want you to make Street Fighter V. That's why Street Fighter V only came out on PlayStation and PC.
Make the game, by the way, here's everything you can't do.
So...
Here's all your restrictions. Have to make it fun, by the way.
Have fun.
Yep. Like, I feel like part of me feels bad for the developers over at Capcom because they were given a project that it was kind of like no win.
Right.
Like, we want you to make this game, and also, hey, we want it out by this time.
You'd think they'd learn. You really think they would figure out, just let it happen naturally. Just make sure you get your budget in and let everyone do their jobs in as much time as they need.
Yeah,
I mean, we're going to have a great Inhumans movie in 2020.
No, you get the TV show and you cancel after one season.
Oh, what's up? IMAX wants
Yep.
a TV show out in 6 months.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess we're doing that instead because that's where our money, Kate. Just push it out. I'm sorry, I got really off track there, but I
No, hey, you know what? The thing is that it's all reasons why. It's all connected.
Yeah.
Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, unfortunately, became a game that was cursed based on the situation that it was born in.
Yeah.
And that's disappointing because no one wants... Because now what's happening is there's a lot of talk of why do people want this game to die? And there are people who there are people who want this game to fail
Yeah.
because they want Capcom to learn a lesson. And I get
Oh,
that.
but Capcom's not going to learn that lesson.
I get that, but also I think what they don't understand
Like,
is
it's
that
not their fault. If it's Marvel's fault, Marvel doesn't care.
it wasn't exactly Capcom's fault with what happened with both Street Fighter V and Infinite. And to bring this all full circle, what makes this all so much worse
Yeah.
is Dragon Ball Fighters came out. Dragon Ball Fighters came out and made Infinite look like it was made by one guy in a basement. It was crafted delicately with the perfect touch. It has gotten everybody into it.
It's what Infinite should have been.
And then this is where you get into the echo chamber that I was speaking about earlier. Everybody seems to have their comments. Some people are saying, "Oh, well, Dragon Ball Fighters is only successful because it's got the Dragon Ball IP attached to it." And I'm like,
didn't we just complain about how many Dragon Ball games? there
time
have been?
out. Are you saying that Marvel is not a strong IP? Marvel has never been stronger. They have their own movie studio and are turning all these beloved characters into larger than life versions of the ones that we've grown up with. And we're all eating it up. I already bought tickets to go bring my nephew to Black Panther, for various reasons, but and then we're all going to go see Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like, Marvel is bigger than ever. So you can't, and it's worldwide. It's worldwide. So you can't tell me that if we were to sit here and rank, and I don't know what numbers we'd use, I can't see how Dragon Ball would be a bigger IP than Marvel on a whole. I mean, Marvel has IPs that Spider-Man alone is as big as Dragon Ball.
Oh yeah.
If anything, Dragon Ball is just really appealing to the nostalgia.
Yeah.
Because we grew up with Dragon Ball Z. Everyone watched it, before school, and then after on Toonami.
Yep.
And now we're adults, and it's back with Super, and why not?
Yeah.
We're a nation of nostalgia.
So, I don't really buy the whole IP argument. I think it's a good video game, and people want to play it. It's good, it's fun, and it's fast, and people want to play good things.
What's the difficulty level on Chatsu's self-destruct? If I want to just make him explode right from the start.
Can you play as Chaozu?
You can't play as Chaozu.
What?
But you can play as Tien, and you can make Chaozu die.
Okay.
And it is
good.
very easy.
Good.
All you need is you just need 3 bars of super because it hits hard.
Okay. All right.
And it's also very entertaining.
Nice.
It's the only way.
The first time I did it,
Yeah.
because Tien was on my team for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I did it by accident, to be perfectly honest. I ended up on the other side of the guy. So when I went to do the move, the other move came out.
Okay.
I quarter circled in the other direction. And I was just like, oh, there's Chaozu. And he dives. And Tien goes, Chaozu, no. And you're you get that stupid smiling face. And then boom, explodes. And I beat the guy with it. And then Tien just looks dejected. And it's awesome.
Poor Tien.
It's awesome.
I looked up the character list to make sure I could still play as Yamcha.
I mean,
Yamcha is not only in this game,
Yeah.
but he is very good. He is very good in this game.
he's got the Wolf Fang fist. Come on.
He has many Wolfang fists.
2 of them.
If you're losing to a Yamcha, you're not going to want to hear the words Wolfang fist again for a while.
Do you plan on attending EVO this year?
It is not currently in the cards because there are other things that I have to take care of. I'm in a friend's wedding, so
I was going to say, if you need a dog sitter, man, hit me up.
I'm in a friend's wedding, so that the planning of the bachelor party and all that takes precedent. Money is not infinite for me,
Yeah.
So I would always like to go, but I gotta put that stuff. So I may not be going this year, but I will definitely be watching without a doubt, and I will have friends that are going, and I will support them. But I mean, it's gonna be weird not having a Marvel there, but I think the games that are gonna be there are gonna be a ton of fun. Street Fighter 5 is gonna be there again. Dragon Ball FighterZ is there. Tekken 7 is gonna be there again.
Smash 4,
Guilty Gear, Smash 4, Smash Melee. The other game that's kind of rubbing everybody the wrong way is the still yet to be released Blaze Blue Tag Battle. It has not even come out yet, and it got
selected
a spot. So people are like, and that's 3 Arc Sys games, which is a big deal because, like I said before, it's usually a Capcom centric event, and you have one Capcom game.
How do we feel? I'm going to ask a question that I don't know if it's true yet. Didn't Bayonetta win Smash 4?
Bayonetta is pretty much regarded as the best Smash 4 character.
I was going to say, how do we feel about that?
I feel wonderful.
He loves Bayo.
I love Bayonetta.
Yeah.
Bayonetta is the bee's knees.
I can't for Evo last year. Wasn't it Bayo against Zero Suit in the finals?
It may have been.
I can't remember who won.
I can't remember.
I just know that Zero didn't win, and that was the big thing. And then Zero retired, and I don't know if he's back already. But
for some reason, I feel like Bayonetta being a brand new character from a different series. They're all from a series, but like she wouldn't be a purist character. But I guess it's just going off of playability and how
she's very strong.
Yeah,
she's very strong, and she also the problem is she was the last DLC character.
Yeah,
and there was only one balance patch after her.
Okay,
so
she's gonna stay that way.
Yeah.
Whereas like back in the day when you know the first iteration, Diddy Kong was an unstoppable monster.
Yeah.
And they just kept making changes to him, and he's still good, but he's obviously not anywhere near what he was at one point.
Yeah.
But Smash 4 is a very interesting game because
I can't watch it. For some reason I can watch Melee competitively all weekend. In fact, I will, because I like competitive Melee. But competitive Smash 4, even though I love playing Smash 4, has never gripped me.
It's a lot slower.
It's slower. Like it's 2 stocks, so like while it is slower, the games feel a lot shorter. You know, it's I don't know. And like the cast of players, you know, hasn't really gripped me. Like Zero dominated it for like 2 years or whatever it was. Like he never lost, and then he kind of turned into. He didn't turn into a villain, but like the community kind of turned him into a villain. Like everyone was rooting against him because they just wanted to see him lose.
Well, when you live long enough as the hero,
exactly,
you become the villain.
Yeah, that's exactly what the quote is too.
That's from Spider-Man 2.
Actually,
with great power comes many villains.
That was Uncle Ben.
3, actually.
Uncle Ben said that.
I liked seeing there was a meme that popped up. And it's like, hi, I'm Jeff Kaplan, creative director of Overwatch. And then it's like, just like nervous, sweating Mercy players.
Yes. Oh, that was a good segue. Overwatch. So, Overwatch.
Yeah, we're only at almost an hour and a half. But
this was fun.
One thing, there's 2 thoughts that were going through my head as that was episode was happening, and I just need to get them out.
Okay.
They're completely unrelated.
Right.
But one of them was, how lit was it when Trunks shows up in Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah.
Right after the Frieza saga, everything's so happy. Who knows where Goku is? Vegeta's in a pink shirt.
I was gonna say
Bad
pink
man.
shirt.
Bad man.
And then Trunks shows up. Who is this blue-haired god? And oh my god, Frieza shows up again. It just took 3 years to kill him.
He was purple, actually. He was purple at the time.
Who? Trunks? Yeah, same difference. But Frieza shows up, and it literally just took years to kill him.
Yeah.
In the Namek saga,
Yeah.
or the Frieza saga, whatever you want to say. How are they? And he's even stronger now. He's with his dad. And then Trunks shows up and literally just owns him in the same episode, right? Wasn't it all one episode?
Yeah, it just happens like
in one episode.
Maybe 2.
Trunks
maybe
shows up.
2.
Yeah, possibly 2. In the span of less than an hour, Trunks shows up. Frieza shows up with his dad, even more powerful than when Goku just took 3 weeks or 3 fucking years to kill him, and then dispatches him in the same in the same
chops
breath.
him up and blasts him.
Chops him
Cuts
up,
him up.
blasts him. Oh, hey, King Cole. Oh, you're dead.
That move's in the game, by the way. Like literally chop up, chop up, chop up.
And then the
blast.
underarm. Was it underarm? I always
Yeah.
thought it was. Yeah, it was underarm.
He like goes.
Like I couldn't believe, and like I had never, obviously, I'd never seen Dragon Ball Z before. Like every episode was new to me.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was unbelievable when that happened. I remember because my brother had a TV in his room, and I was laying in my brother's bed watching it. Unbelievable. The most insane shit I've ever seen in my life.
But then Goku comes back late, and he's like, "Oh, you're Super Saiyan as well? Let's spar." And you just saw a sword chop Frieza into pieces, and Goku's like, "Oh, I've got my finger. Let's do this."
I can teleport now, so piss off.
Teleport's great.
Second thing,
Instant transmission.
Oh
Instant
my God.
transmission.
Oh my God. Second thing I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
One also very lit. I was overly excited about it. I hate that I've used lit twice now. I was very excited about it
You
when it
don't
was
seem
happening.
to hate it.
When Ken was at Evo last year,
Yeah.
and how neat it was, because I've been in one tournament my entire life, and that was at the amusement park we used to work at. There's a Smash Brawl tournament.
That barely even counts.
There's a Smash Brawl tournament in the Hall of Justice using the giant screen. And me and Joe teamed up, and I choked really hard. I had never been so nervous before, probably for anything in my life.
Yeah, it's.
I was
nerve-wracking.
literally shaking. I was playing two people who I'd worked with all summer.
That you're friends with.
Yeah, and like it was just, but I was so nervous. I suicided twice.
Yep. Yeah, it's
And
nerve-wracking.
we lost first round, and that's always haunted me to this day.
It should.
But it was very cool to see. Like I was following the brackets.
Yeah.
Because like when you were playing in pools, I was checking. It wasn't ever streamed. Because there's so much happening the
There
first
is,
couple
like,
days.
around my pool. There is hundreds of others.
Exactly.
Hundreds. So,
There's hundreds of matches happening early Evo. They're only going to stream probably most likely top tier people.
yeah.
The odds of Ken ending up on stream were slim, but it was still really neat to be like, because you would update us, be like, hey, we just won my second match or whatever, and like I would refresh and like I would see my friend's name move up in the bracket. Because like you were saying, like, oh yeah, you even mentioned I'm not very good, and I was like, I've never competed in really a fighting game tournament. I've never seen my name move up in a bracket before, and like there was one guy. Didn't one guy no show, and then you got revenge on another guy?
No, what happened
you-
was there was a bracket change. So there was an alteration to my bracket like the night before. So the next day they were using the old bracket. And so I had already played someone and was actually getting ready for my next match in loser's bracket because I had lost. And they all of a sudden say like, hey, they were using the wrong bracket. We got to restart. I'm like, okay. So I go and I play.
Back to winners.
I play a new. It's a fresh start. Like now, it's like nothing has happened. So I go and I play. I destroy this new first guy. Destroy him. Funny story, actually. I look at the guy
He cried.
after it was over. I went, "Where are you from?" And he goes, "Mass." I'm like, "Where in Mass?" Springfield. And I was like, "Yes, we went to high school together." I beat a guy in Las Vegas in Tekken 7 that I went to high school with.
You could have done
shit.
that.
Felt bad.
Here.
I felt exactly. I felt kind of bad.
You traveled all that way to get beat by someone.
We could have done this
Next
like
door.
a lot cheaper.
I then beat my next opponent. My next opponent was the guy who had beat me in the not bracket,
False bracket.
yeah.
and I beat him because now I knew how to beat him. Like I was like, oh, okay, now I know this is
Yeah.
punishable. That is punishable. I am now going to beat you,
And this is all in
and I
Tekken.
beat him. This is
correct?
Tekken 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played Street Fighter 5, but we don't talk
who were
about
you
that.
using?
In Tekken 7,
Yeah.
at the time I was using Nina.
Okay.
And then I kind of stopped playing for a little while, and then when I got a re-interest, I was playing Steve for a little bit. But I haven't really played a ton lately. Not Tekken.
I'm okay with both those characters.
You have my
You're
approval.
okay. Oh, they're Alex approved.
Yeah.
All right, I'll make sure to always I'll check with you before I learn a new character.
But it was really cool to see that, because it's like normally I do that with people who like I would never be able to be in contact with, but my friend was there doing it, and it was really I was overexcited.
It is
Very
it is really
much.
awesome to be involved in that. Like when you see the breadth of it all, and you're like, I was in that, and I competed. Like
Your name is in the books.
Mm-hmm. White Shadow.
The SombreBlanco.
It's just White Shadow. in the HGC.
It's just White Shadow.
It's just White Shadow.
This was fun.
I had a good time.
I could talk about fighting games with you for an annoying amount of time, just because I gotta like. It's like when, every now and then when we'll talk with Vela,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like I'll be able to get some of my esports out because no one else really follows it.
Esports out.
Yeah, yep. I mean, Overwatch League, my New York Excelsior, is that their name? I don't even know what their name is.
Yeah, dude, the Soul Dynasty.
They're out.
Are gonna make.
They're
the cut.
out.
I had to check. Apparently, there's all sorts of like reasons because their win loss is
they're like the
puts them
fourth
in,
best
like,
team,
third place or something.
Yeah.
But there's something about like their actual map differentials that are keeping them out. I don't know. I gotta research a little.
Well,
bit.
there's a lot of stuff like they had a bunch of stats, and it's very similar to like football. You know, like with a whatever win or this loss, we're in. Whereas like one of the teams, it's like if we 4-0 this team and then this other team beats this other team at least 3-1, then we're in.
It is
like
it has been really cool to see the success of the Overwatch League. If there's one thing I wish that they would change,
casters.
And actually, there's actually a thread on Reddit about it, and I don't disagree with that thread. It's the casters have a tendency to really trash
The bad teams. Did you see it this morning on Reddit? Because I did.
Yes, I saw. Not only did I saw it this morning on Reddit, but it also been a thought that I had like a few weeks back when they made comments about the Shanghai Dragons. Because I understand the Shanghai Dragons have had a really hard time.
They're 0-10.
Yeah, they're not.
They haven't won.
And
then the Florida Mayhem are 1-9.
Yeah, the Shanghai Dragons. There's a lot of circumstances with that team. But the thing is, when I watch them play, I'm like, these guys are getting so much better, and they're playing these other teams that are supposed to be way better than them, very tough. And I feel like the casters aren't giving them any credit for that. And that's
like the announcers, the people calling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They trash them.
They're
like,
the
you know,
commentators.
the team you don't want to lose to.
Yeah,
it's the Shanghai Dragons.
And I'm like, that's...
And like they'll pull off some crazy move and they'll just like laugh it off as like circumstantial. Whereas like the other team will do something like unimportant. Like, oh my god, what a smart play! Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's not the way to get and keep people interested.
Huh.
Like I'm not big on I understand the difference between esports and real sports, but I've been watching real sports my whole life. And you're not often. I mean, I get that they're playing against, you know, the Detroit Lions or the Cleveland Browns or somebody. Like, we understand that they're not good.
It's my team.
I know it is,
Browns, yeah.
but you know that they're not very good.
Oh yeah.
You don't.
Alex chases perfection.
But instead of telling us why the Browns are going to lose, tell us how they could.
I don't need anyone to tell me that.
Tell us what they could do to win.
Right.
Analyze the game. Analyze the situation. Because you know what, the beauty of basically any sport is that yes, you can win through strategy.
It's like why everyone hates Michael Cole. It's like don't tell me about this wrestling match, Michael Cole. Just shut up sometimes.
It's his job to not shut up.
Eat shit, Michael Cole.
He's the one constant, man.
Hope you're listening.
Yeah, Michael Cole's probably listening. Spent an hour and a half into a podcast about fighting games.
Oh, well, I'm done. What a maneuver. That was Vince McMahon.
Jesus Christ. Oh, I just want to we're going to keep talking about fighting games after this. Anyways, we do have to end because we're a little over. We're fine, though. We're fine.
Maybe. We'll see.
We're cool. I'm cool. I don't know about you guys. Ken, thanks for coming on. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me.
It's not snowing, which is nice.
Yeah.
It's just really wet. So... It's raining.
What?
I don't.
What?
No, I laughed in another
You're
joke.
inappropriate.
You're.
Do I have anything to plug? We don't have anything to plug. Zach, feel better. Hope you're doing well. Miss you, man.
Sharbs, our good buddy Zach Sharbs got into a bad car accident. Broke his hand, but I think he's gonna be all right. Hope he's doing all right. Tell him to listen to this.
T's and P's.
T's and P's.
To the Zach Sharbies.
Good, sending good
like
vibes.
that?
Sending positive vibes.
Sending vibes. Smash that like button,
Smash
man.
that.
One like is one prayer. That's going to do it for this week. Ken, thanks again. This is a lot of fun. I'm going to go play fighting games now. Until next time, I have been JR.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Ken.
And this has been episode 308. 308. I turned my brightness down on my laptop to say battery, and now I can't see. There it is. 308 of Opinions May Vary.